Good afternoon, I'm Herman Green with the Midday News. A special welcome to those of you watching on onespotmedia.com. We begin with news just in as a major raid is underway by the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime CTOC Investigation Branch and Jamaica Customs at 84 Princess Street in downtown Kingston. Several counterfeit shoes and clothes have been seized at a store and a warehouse. TVJ News understands that the goods are worth over $60 million. Police are now questioning persons who are at the property, and we will have more details on this developing story in subsequent newscasts. Chief Justice Brian Sykes today sent a strong warning to judges, prosecutors, and defense attorneys that his administration will not tolerate the culture of delays that now exists in the justice system. Addressing this morning's opening of the Hillary session of the Home Circuit Court, the Chief Justice warned that he will not accept delays and unwarranted adjournments from prosecutors and the defense. He said adjournments will only be granted in exceptional circumstances, adding that the current culture of putting off cases without proper cause will not be tolerated going forward. Come September, he said, proper scheduling of cases will be introduced. As health concerns continue to mount about the state of the building housing the Cornwall Regional Hospital, 101 inpatients were yesterday transferred to other facilities. TVJ News spoke with clinical coordinator at the Cornwall Regional Hospital, Dr. Delroy Frey, who said that more patients are to be relocated within the coming days.
I'm moving them because the staff are not comfortable to work on the main building. So we have provided alternative areas on the compound to move those patients to, and also some to the Falmouth Hospital, where we will be having our looking after patients there as well. Oh, these are inpatients, like surgical inpatients, obstetric inpatients, and gynecologic inpatients. Those are the only patients that are currently on the ward, on the main building, I should say.
Meanwhile, health workers said symptoms such as itchy skin and respiratory problems that have been affecting workers at the Cornwall Regional Hospital since 2016 have not abated and are now getting worse. They have also listed dehydration, severe joint pain, and hair falling out as some of the more prevalent symptoms being experienced. The junior doctors at the hospital staged a sick out yesterday. They, however, returned to work this morning. Meanwhile, Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton, is this afternoon refuting claims by the opposition that his ministry has mishandled the situation at the Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James. During a press conference yesterday, opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Dayton Campbell, chided the government for moving at what he described as a snail's pace in addressing the issue. But Dr. Tufton is insisting that the issue at the hospital were compounded by other factors.
This problem started with a vent system. It morphed into a chimney stack, then into a mold because the roof was leaking and the walls were damp and we had a major mold infestation. Then there was an issue of the septic, the waste runoff. So what was originally thought of as a ventilation system to be replaced became 5, 6 other things. And so the scope of work changed, and as a consequence, the timelines changed.
Another note of contention for the health minister was the speculation that the air quality at the hospital caused the death of a Cuban doctor. This was denied by both the senior medical officer at Cornwall Regional Hospital, Dr. Delroy Frey, and Dr. Tufton.
Frankly speaking, I think it's irresponsible for the opposition and spokesperson to take into a press briefing a discussion around deaths at Cornwall Regional with the insinuation, not explicit, I listened very carefully, but the implicit suggestion that these deaths may be linked to air quality issues. I think the danger in that assumption is that it sends panic in the population and the local population.
The St. Elizabeth police say they are now awaiting the autopsy report on the remains of the body of 39-year-old businesswoman Jermaine Lennon, otherwise called Marsha, which was found in a house following a fire on March 23 in the Akompong Maroon village. TVJ News has been informed that the police are treating the matter as a case of suspected arson and murder. Miss Lennon's remains were found in a 4-apartment dwelling house beneath a mattress partly burnt. Her male companion, who was hospitalized after being found unconscious, is still in hospital in a semi-unconscious state. A medical source at the hospital told TVJ News that a sample taken from the stomach of Miss Lennon's male companion has been sent to the lab for testing, as it is suspected that he had ingested a corrosive substance. On March 23, the Santa Cruz fire station was called about the house fire. However, when they arrived, the building was already destroyed. During the cooling down operations, Miss Lennon's body was found under a mattress. Following yesterday's stalled no-confidence motion against former mayor of Morant Bay, Lenworth Rawle, and his deputy Michael Hugh, the People's National Party caucus of St. Thomas Municipal Corporation has written to the chairman requesting a special sitting to again move the motion. This was served on Chairman Michael Hugh yesterday. Mr. Hugh was promoted to the position of mayor and chairman of the municipal corporation after Mr. Rawle resigned. Yesterday's attempt by PNP Minority Leader Hubert Williams to present the motion was rejected by Mr. Hugh, who cited a technicality in the resolution. Mr. Hugh explained that Mr. Rawle had resigned as mayor and there is currently no deputy mayor. Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries Audley Shaw has ordered an inventory of all available government lands currently not in production. Mr. Shaw made the disclosure while speaking at the Montpelier Agricultural and Industrial Show in St. James earlier this week. Since being appointed in the position, Mr. Shaw has lamented the amount of idle lands in Jamaica. Mr. Shaw says he has commissioned technocrats in the ministry to work with agencies such as the Agro-Investment Corporation, JAMPRO, and the National Irrigation Commission to conduct the inventory.
Do an inventory of all available government lands that is not in production. Profile these lands based on their soil capabilities and the availability of irrigation. Identify high-value crops that can be grown on these lands and package these lands for divestment. They don't all have to be sold. Some of it can be leased. If you don't have money to buy the land, we can arrange to lease you the land. Just come with a good business plan. We have too many acres that is at our disposal. And it's not just government land, by the way. We're going to have to work a pact with those large owners, private sector owners of idle land that is across this country, including places like Westmoreland. We're going to have a discussion with all of those owners of private property to see how those lands can also be put into production.
He says the country must return to increased levels of production. Central Clarendon MP Mike Henry is calling for greater collaboration to develop areas of that parish. He points to the development of the Vernamsfield airstrip, which he believes will trigger growth in other sectors in the parish.
I have said to everyone in the racing industry, you have a glorious opportunity to ask me for X hundred of acres. Build your racetrack. But build it on the basis of Formula 3 first, Formula 2 second, and then Formula 1. I am interested in Formula 1 because Formula 1 is actually called around the houses race in a town. And I want to match Singapore.
Mr. Henry was speaking at a recent consultation meeting with residents and other stakeholders where he stressed the undervalued and overlooked potential of other areas in Clarendon, like Salt River.
So I check on it and I find the amount of limestone in the area. I check on it further and the best limestone for whitening your teeth and the beauty industry is right here in Clarendon. But unless we go in for big mass mining, we don't think it has value because value is added by what you create and intimate in the thing.
We go down to news overseas. The identity of a woman who shot and injured 3 people at the YouTube headquarters offices in Northern California has been released. The shooting happened on Tuesday, after which the woman shot and killed herself. The details from the CNN.
Police in San Bruno, California have identified the YouTube shooter as Nasim Agdam, a San Diego woman in her late 30s. Officials say she shot 3 people at YouTube headquarters in the San Francisco suburb and then apparently took her own life. One of the wounded, a 36-year-old man in critical condition. A 4th person was injured trying to escape the gunfire. A witness described the scene to CNN after shots rang out on YouTube's campus Tuesday afternoon.
First I heard like 3 to 4 shots. So I ran around the building, went to go look. I encountered a girl running from the street to me. I grabbed her and told those people inside the Carl's Jr.'s put her inside open the door, put her inside the building.
How was she coming out? She was coming out by herself?
By herself, running. Yeah.
Was she saying anything?
Yeah, I've been shot in the leg.
Investigators are still trying to determine a possible motive. The LA Times cites a law enforcement source saying investigators are looking at a website that appears to show pictures of the shooter as well as grievances against YouTube.
And still overseas, the claim by Britain that Moscow was behind the poisoning of a former Russian spy faced fresh scrutiny Wednesday when it emerged that the UK government had deleted a tweet blaming Russia for producing the nerve agent used in the attack. The UK Foreign Office acknowledged it had removed the social media post, which stated that British chemical weapons experts believed Russia made the nerve agent Novichok used to poison the agent and his daughter on March 4. A Foreign Office spokesperson said the tweet was removed because it was truncated and did not accurately report a briefing by the British ambassador to Moscow last month. And it's time now for a look at what's coming up in this evening's Health Report.
In the next edition of the Health Report, we look at low back pain.
A slippage of one part of the spine over the other, a process called spondylolisthesis, are some of the more common degenerative changes that result in low back pain. Other conditions that we are careful to look for are things like cancer, tumors of the spine, infections of the spine, and sometimes even pain that is referred from other parts of the body, such as from the abdomen, which can present with back pain.
That's the Health Report this evening in Primetime News. And now for today's Healthy Living tip. If you're experiencing low back pain, here are some ways you can manage the pain when it just starts. Get some rest. Adjust your posture. Apply heat to the affected area. Apply ice to the affected area. And you can take over-the-counter pain medication.
And we go now to sports. It's now or never. That's the word coming out of the bruising gym camp as 2-time finalist Richard Frog Holmes is about to make his 7th consecutive appearance in the Ray and Neville Contender Series for the welterweight title. The 30-year-old Holmes will be facing Canadian number 8 seed Lloyd Reyes, who will be making his professional debut at the Chinese Benevolent headquarters tonight.
The hard-hitting Richard Holmes made his professional boxing debut during the 2012 edition of the Contender Series for the welterweight belt, where he lost in the semi-finals against eventual winner Donovan Police Campbell. Over the next 3 years, Holmes steadily moved up to be one of the country's top boxers, with 2015 being his biggest break as he fought Kemal the Hitman Russell for the middleweight title. However, he was knocked out in the 6th round by Russell. In 2016, he became the 2nd boxer to contest 2 consecutive finals, going up against the world-rated DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley for another middleweight title. But he suffered the 3rd TKO of his career. Now with the competition looking much weaker than previous years, Holmes' trainer Carl Grant says it's now or never for his charge.
Yeah, man, after 7 years in the Contender, he must be good at his craft now, so we're not even asking. We're just telling everybody out there, this year Richard Frog Holmes is going to win the Contender.
Holmes, who has over 24 fights in his career, says he's now more prepared than ever.
I'm in a good shape, I think, coming to this fight because I've been training a couple months straight, so I think I'm in good shape.
The Jamaican, who has 15 wins with 8 coming by way of knockout and 8 losses, 4 of those by TKO, says facing Reyes, who is unbeaten in 4 mixed martial arts fights, should not be much of an opposition.
Not necessarily say study all his style, but as going on, prepare myself mentally, physically for whatever he come and he has thrown at me, you know what I'm saying? So I'm preparing myself mentally and physically.
I don't think I have a limited experience. It's just that I have different other experience in different other mixed martial arts. And not just boxing. I do Muay Thai, I do MMA, and I also do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I'm trying to combine all them arts and put boxing into it too. So I'll be a complete fighter, not just one fighter, one-dimensional fighter.
Both boxers tipped the scale at 148 pounds and will be opening the 2018 edition of the Ray and Nephew Contender Series. TVJ will have live coverage of the fight starting at 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.